Well, guys, we just had another content guy be interviewed about next year's content. So we have a lot to discuss about that. I wrote down some notes about it. There is some very actually interesting things in there that I think is it is actually promising for next year. And you guys know, if you watch the last video on the channel, actually, I was a little bit more maybe pessimistic than some people were about the pitch notes, but there was something said today from this producer that does kind of confirm what we thought all this time and maybe indicates why we're actually seeing these changes happen now. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You could use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some futties stuff. We have like a player leak or two for this next futties team. We have another futties team. Yes, so it's not done yet, boys. Not that it's a bad promo or anything, but you know, I think we're all ready for 85-10 season at this point. I mean, it's already kind of 85-10 season. But the 84-10s really are not that great, honestly. I can't even find them. Right there. Yeah, they're not even actually that great. I mean, I know it's hard to complain about 84-10s, but yeah, I think the 85-10s will actually be quite a bit better when we get them. But anyway, I think it's going to be in 2 days. I think we don't really know for sure if it's actually going to be in 2 days or not. EA have liked to push this back further and further as the years have gone on. It used to be like beginning of July we got the repeatable 85-10. I think back like 3 years ago or something like that. And it's gone like further and further back since then. I think last year it was about the beginning of August, so I would guess it will be in 2 days. But you know, if you're still here playing this game right now, what do you think about the content? We got some more new evos coming out here, less restrictive evos. Right, another one today, hybrid core, 95 overall. That's like the only requirement here, right? So I like seeing these. I hope that next year we actually do get more of these. I've said this before, I think, on the channel, but I'm hoping next year's evos are a little more forgiving, a little more like what these are here than what we had like the beginning of this year. It was advertised we were going to get more freedom on evo requirements, and that just was not the case until like the last month. It just wasn't the case. And also there's 2 training camp evos. I still think these are dumb, by the way. I don't like these. A day is fine, okay? 1 day is cool. The 14-day evo, whatever the hell that one was that we had like at the beginning of futties, that sucks. But I guarantee you somebody watching this did not know those existed, so they do exist. I think for this video I will open the 84 by, is it like 33 by 84? Is that what it is? Yeah, we'll open this pack up at the end of the video just to try and see if we can make our money back or pack a crazy futties card, which is not going to happen, but just in case. But okay, so let's talk about the EA producer interview here. So he talked about content today. Another guy who's been there for actually a long time. He said he was on the content team to start with, ended up going to like Volta stuff for a few years, then came back onto the content team. Okay, so I wrote down some notes here and we'll go through them kind of one by one. And I swear I'm not doing this for just the engagement and the watch time, but the most interesting thing is literally the last thing he said in this, because I think he wanted to get the point across, like this specific thing he really wanted to enunciate, I suppose, in this interview. So we'll get to that point, but there's a lot in here. So okay, there's just my notes here. So if you want to go watch the actual thing, obviously Fun Accountant had the interview today. So if you guys want to watch the full thing, you can do that. But here's kind of the summary of everything. So they watched a lot of reaction videos apparently to the Ultimate Team pitch notes and said they were laughing at the fact that they were kind of getting roasted for the whole like, hey, you'll see this feature in the next pitch notes. And that's kind of what it felt like it all was, or some of like the bigger things were there. And he said they maybe shouldn't have done that. That was what he said there. Number 1, how often will goalkeeper evos be released? Because obviously you have 1 goalkeeper per team. So how often can you really release them? Even though we do need more teams now because of Gauntlet. So he says they're hoping they don't have to release them too often by making them repeatable. So that way you're not kind of waiting on a goalkeeper evo forever if you want one, because then you can do a couple of them in a row or do like 1 every week, right? So that's one benefit of the repeatable evos there. And also, will they get reaction boosts? Because we know that, you know, that's important for goalkeepers. Didn't really answer because he couldn't say with 100% certainty, but says personally that they should. So he's saying that he thinks they should, but he doesn't know for sure if they're going to. So I don't exactly know what that means, but that was how I summarized what he said. And that's kind of how some of this stuff works. They dance around some of the stuff. Number 2, tournament seems like another competitive mode. Will there be room for more casual cup-like tournaments or friendlies? I think it's a fair question to ask because it does seem like, yeah, we talked about yesterday, it's just more competitive. We have limited entries, right? It says here, they are really evolving what friendlies is for FC26. Want that to be the mode that is not constant white-knuckle competition all the time, in quotes there. It says live service will feel way different this year. More focus on game modes. And that seems like a big theme here, is if they're trying to slow down the power curve, they want the content to still be engaging and active, active and not have days of dead content. He says something down here about that actually, which we'll get to. But a way to do that is add in different game modes and more need for the players that are already released, right? So I think he's trying to say here, you know, just content is going to be different in the way that they're focusing on like gameplay, I guess, in a way, integrating that with the content rather than just like what new players are coming out all the time. And that's kind of what content is, just players all the time. And right here, we'll give time to prepare for certain tournaments and friendlies. That's a big one because I did worry about that a little bit. Like leaks would be crazy, and they still might be with these tournaments and gauntlets and stuff like that. But he does say that like a week before they unlock, they will give you what the requirements are so that you can prepare and try and get like a better team of X nation, right? So that's kind of cool. I like that idea. Number 3, can you evo players in these other modes like tournament, gauntlet, stuff like that? My note says kind of dance around question. Probably not, I assume. Yeah, he kind of didn't really answer it, which I'm kind of surprised that they wouldn't allow you to, but okay. And I've kind of got some like random stuff written in between questions here. There won't be as many different squads needed for gauntlet at the start of the game because it's hard to get 4 squads at the start of the game, obviously. So he says they'll up the number of squads like as the year goes on. He says interested to see what Gauntlet does to the market. This is the producer, not FUT Accountant, saying this, the EA producer saying this. Interested to see what Gauntlet does to the market, hoping it adds value like in older games where everything isn't fodder. So right now the market obviously literally almost all year was like insane cards or fodder. That's like what everything was, and he's hoping that this really helps with that. So nice to see them acknowledging that because it's kind of been a problem, honestly. It makes the game boring. Number 4, if I have, for example, Team of the Week Yamal, can I use Gold Yamal as well? Because as we know in Gauntlet, you have to use different cards, right? He says yes, but if it starts getting abused and people buy the same cards continuously, but like different rarity, right? They'll stop allowing it. So I do like that. That yeah, if you do end up packing a Team of the Week crazy card, you can use that gold card too. Say if you got lucky and packed them both, right? Then you can use both. But they do say if it starts getting like abused, then they'll stop allowing it. Number 5, how often will bounties occur in Rivals? He says about every 3 games. I think it's random though, so I'm not sure that's going to be like a concrete number, but that's what he says there. Random kind of bullet point again. Want to feel like your time is valued even without winning. So that's one of their main goals. I don't really know how. I mean, I get they're trying to do that, and I do appreciate that, but I feel like there's certain ways they could go about doing it still that they don't do, and I don't really understand why. I think they always just try and balance the whole like, well, we do need you to make sure your main team is your main team, and we do need you to win a lot because obviously then you want to get the best cards in the game. They're trying to balance that, but you can tell they're trying to balance that, right? Another random bullet point. Yes, every win in champs will have a new reward, so we did confirm that. That was in the pitch notes. Like it was on the picture of the pitch notes. It didn't say it in there though, but he confirms it. Number 6, how will you balance challengers rewards as people could smurf? Obviously smurfing, for you guys don't know, is like purposely tanking, you know, your division to play slower people. not slower people, just players who aren't quite as good, obviously. He says challengers rewards will be decent, but champs rewards will be much better. Plus rivals rewards you will get each week will be much worse if you stay in lower divisions. So if you pass a certain division, you can't play in challengers. And I guess he's saying here the incentive to smurf would not really be there because you'll have worse weekend league rewards and then way worse rivals rewards. And that makes sense. And then he says in quotes, try and balance it throughout the year. So okay, kind of figured that. Random bullet point again. We accelerated things too quickly this year, not going back to 10 years ago, but will be slower. We kind of knew that already, but nice to see another, you know, person comment on that isn't FUT Accountant. Number 7, promos seem to get stale as the weeks went on. Thoughts on that? He says they're hoping the new competition structure will greatly help this and players won't just care about the promo cards themselves. So that was where it was relating back to that other thing he talked about too, where right now promos kind of are all about the promo cards. He's hoping that that's not the case anymore, and that way it can be more engaging as time goes on. It's not boring when you're on team 4 of shapeshifters and team 5 of futties. And right here he does say like trying to balance the game is either dead when there's no content or there's too much. Like he's saying that they hear feedback on this all the time and it's hard to balance the like, okay, a slower week of content, then the game's dead and the numbers are poor, but then the feedback they get a lot too is that there's too much. So it is hard to balance that, and he said it, they're trying to find that in between. But that is one thing I have said before on the channel, like I do sympathize with that because it does make sense. He says can't give technical answers on servers. He was asked a question about servers, says they've been in contact and attempted to emphasize this to like that team. That's kind of all he could say about that. And then right here's an interesting one. Had been closed off in communication due to lawsuit potential, but we've seen the community responds well to open communication. So apparently they were quiet for a long time because of lawsuit potential, but didn't go into like why that's not the case now. Like, is there no more lawsuit potential now? I was a little confused about that, but he did say like that was literally the reason that they were closed off in communication. So, yeah, we've never heard any content guy ever say that. So I'm appreciating that they do say that, but I'm curious as to how there's not the potential anymore. But back then it was like to the point where they couldn't even say anything, right? That's a little strange there, but that goes hand in hand with one more thing at the end. That's the biggest thing that they talked about here. Let me know if you guys have any idea why that would be, right? Getting towards the end here, emphasis on improving menu responsiveness was a big piece for them. Number 8, are different icon models in game possible? He says yes, but didn't say much more. So that, for example, is the, you know, the different R9 haircuts, different Dinos, different whatever icons for different promo cards that come out. He says yes, but they didn't really say much more about it. So he does say it is possible though. Number 9, where did super subs go? That's a fair question because they're supposed to come in this year, and he says they just needed more work. They just weren't ready. Actually, they planned for it to be in this year's game, but they needed more work, and they'll be maybe in next year's game, I think is what he said. So they won't even be, there's not even guaranteed to be in next year's game either, which is interesting. It says here, draft rewards will be better. Give suggestions on how to make it better to the team, though, he says too. He says, like, we want to make draft better and make it good. We don't really know exactly what to do. So he said, go to the portal and give him feedback. And obviously, I feel like when you're in the portal, it's like it's the whole, you feel like you're just in a marketing buzzword cave or like pit, you know, you're just in like is anyone out there? Is anyone actually listening to anything I'm saying in here? But he does say that like they're using the portal a lot and they want suggestions on how to make draft better for next year and years beyond that. Number 10, any chance on icon swaps? And he said it himself, he loved icon swaps and they're interested in bringing it back, he says. And number 11 was like a joke question, you know, who is the L2 guy? Says Fud Accountant, because I think did Inception start that? Like, who's the L2 guy? And like get him on the gameplay team. He said not him, unfortunately. And he did say it was kind of a team effort, I guess. But this one here was a big one. This is the biggest one. Understand skepticism. They now feel like they are properly staffed and feel more equipped to attack the needs of the community better than 2 or 3 years ago. So this one for me, the reason that I think this is by far the biggest news I've heard probably in a long time regarding the future of FC is that I felt for so long, and we felt this too, it's not just me, we felt for so long that they must not be properly staffed. And that's why all these mistakes are happening. All this weird decision making was going on. It felt like certain things were being addressed and other things that were bigger weren't. And it felt like they just didn't have enough people like at the helm, right? And this was something that they didn't even, like, Fud Accountant I think literally said, like, is there any last thing you want to say here? And he just said this, like, to get his point across. He said they feel like they are properly staffed. Said it like 3 different times, that they have the proper staffing now to do things they wish they could. So they've hired more people, and that's what I was trying to say when these mistakes were happening. I said fucking hire more people if that's the problem here. And of course, this doesn't mean that everything's solved, right? It does not mean that at all, not even close. But this was a giant problem that to actually try and get better, this had to be fixed here. And hopefully it's a lot better, because that is very important. So I'm happy to see that they feel like they're at least properly staffed now. So let me know what you guys think about that, obviously. And moving on here, there's a lot of FC26 beta stuff that's coming out right now. The beta just started. There's actually a glitch to get onto Ultimate Team if you didn't have the Ultimate Team beta. They fixed that now. They fixed the other glitches that were in there. There's a lot of leaks on Twitter right now that are going around, and the more that we hear about it, obviously I'll talk about it. I can't show anything, of course, but we'll talk about it on the channel. There's nothing really so far that has been any different than what we know already. But apparently the beta has a queue to get in. Like, the servers are so overloaded in the beta, there's a queue to get in, which is, I don't know if that's like, I don't know how that even happens. I have no idea how that happens, but that's going on right this second. But I have no idea how that happens. Now, next up here, FC Pro World Champion SBC is coming, similar to like the other, you know, champion icon SBCs we see relating to the esports scene. It does say here winner picks an icon. I don't know if that's just picks an icon out of a hat or picks their own icon. It could be anybody, or picks the certain icon that like we've seen previously. Final is on Sunday, an official card design here. So I guess that's something. This actually might be our first like massive SBC, like 99, 5 playstyle pluses, insane SBC that we see, hopefully. Or it's going to be a Marco Van Basten 98 with 4 playstyle pluses who's got 4-star skills. It could be one of the two things. There are a bunch of pack leaks as well here. The only interesting one really is this one. There's an 11 futties player pack somewhere. I think it's going to be a store pack. Yeah, right here. So long and thanks for all the blank. Looks like it's like censored or something. Includes 11 guaranteed futties player items. other than that, it's like a lot of, I think, store packs here. And these ones are, you have a 7 by 88, 15 by 86. These could be in the next season, maybe something like that. But yeah, not really too much to say about this. And then our one futties leak that we've got for the next team is Gareth Bale. So Bale will be in the team, not as an SBC or anything. And I think these stats are official because we just got a loading screen from EA that had 99.99 here. We can look at it right here. Yep, 99 pace, 99 shot. Then you have a French PSG player, 99 rated there. I guess that could be a couple players, but probably Ousmane Dembele. Then you got a Premier League player, I guess, 99 pace, 99 dribbling, English with 5 playstyle pluses, and then a left back Brazil icon. So Roberto Carlos is going to be in there as well. Wait, Dembele has a futties. No, that's like Doué then. It's got to be Doué, right? Doué or Barcola there. But yeah, okay. That's kind of all the stuff that we've got right now. We'll read some of your comments here and then we'll open our pack. So a couple of the things I was seeing as well in the comments was either like, no, I liked a lot of it, and some of it was, oh my god, this looks so sweaty and I don't care now to get the game. Tariq Alfara, thanks for the video, was confirmation I won't be bothered with next year's game. It'll be a sweat fest, other good games releasing. Yeah, I think I am worried about the sweat fest part of it too. I think it's hard to not have the game be mostly a sweat fest when these rewards exist. They're just, I think there's a mode or two they can have in here where they can have some fun with it. I'm hoping that friendlies becomes that. You know, that producer said that friendlies is kind of going to be that more casual experience. That's what we can hope for. And then B Zoogie here, well, being Australian means I'm never playing Gauntlet in tournaments. I'll either be at work or asleep. And he was saying that because, you know, when gauntlets drop or when tournaments drop, you got to like quickly get to the players you need. But he does say they're going to give warnings for that, and you'll have like a week or two to like build up a team, hopefully, for your tournaments. Gauntlet, there's never going to be requirements for apparently, but tournaments there's going to be. So I do like the giving the warning. It's still like when the warning pops up, then it's like, yeah, they're all going to go crazy. But you at least, if you can't afford cards or whatever, you can build up some Evos and maybe try and pack some cards that can fit in that tournament. So I do like the warning part, definitely helps at least with that. And Rose and Mary J here, it's not unlimited entries though. Once you win the tournament, that's it. Yeah, if that, I mean, that would suck. Like, I don't get the tournaments if you're going to have limited entries and then once you win it, you can't play it again. Like, I know that you can have some tournaments where if you win it, you can't play it again. Like, for example, if it's for a player, I actually like that. But if it's for a rare mega pack, for you got to win 4 games, get a rare mega pack untradeable, and you can't grind through it and win it like a couple of times to get the 2 rare mega packs, that's crazy. That is not what tournaments was. There wasn't any part of what made tournaments cool or good. It was none of that. I really hope that that is not the case at all. I strongly hope not. Okay, boys, I ended it here. We are going to end it with our 33 by 84 and get, I think last time we opened this, I think we lost, like, no bullshit, 170k, I want to say. So it was not good. But I saw somebody on Twitter make coins off, like, all 3 of them. They opened all 3 and made a profit. It's possible to make coins on this. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but we're doing it for the shits and the gigs. I'm skipping this. We're not going to really see anything here. Can we get some specials in here? We got 91 Neymar. And you know what? I'm assuming that's his price range. Okay, I was going to say, there's no way he's going for that. But that actually, I would guess with the way that the Evos are right now, he probably would have helped me make money on this pack. Honestly, I'm going to list him right now just because if anyone wants to buy him for an Evo, they have to buy him at this price. But I know he's not going to sell probably. But we might have actually done okay based off that one Neymar pull. And oh my god. Okay, that's a lot of special cards. Wow, that is actually a lot of specials. Loriente's like 20k, so he's over discard. I got to clear my trade pile. Let's put down and copy A, and then let's put down these guys. Loriente goes for like 20k or so, so we'll just list him for that. That's 17k added on to all of this here. So, I mean, we're looking at like all this stuff is like, I don't know, 25k here. So you add 25k on, 95k. I mean, you have to sell Neymar at like 100k to make our money back on that, I think, right? Like 100 and maybe like low hundreds to make our money back, which I think is probably what he would sell for, I think, with the Evos and stuff. So I guess that wasn't that bad. Neymar helped that, but yeah, I would not open that. It's probably not going to be a smart idea. But thank you guys all for being here and watching. I love you all as ever. Peace.